Hello and welcome back. This is Sherry with Full Armor of God, and I believe I received confirmation to release a dream that I had on December 4th, 2024. It's a very short dream. Here it is. Had a dream that me and my boyfriend were on a date. He said he had to leave now. I asked him why. He said he had to go to a bachelor party. I asked him for a second time what his name was. He said Ruski. That's what I can remember. I awoke at 8:27 a.m. So I did look up 827 in the Strong's Greek Concordance. 27 in the Strong's Greek Concordance is the word age. The definition is dawn, brightness, radiance. The meaning is brightness, daylight, dawn. If you look under where it says usage, it says in the New Testament, age is used to describe the first light of day, the dawn, or the brightness associated with the morning light. It conveys the idea of new beginnings, hope, and the dispelling of darkness. The term is often metaphorical, symbolizing spiritual enlightenment and the revelation of truth. Where it says cultural and historical background, in ancient Greek culture, the concept of dawn was often associated with new beginnings and divine intervention. The dawn was seen as a time when the gods might reveal themselves or when significant events could occur. In the Jewish context, light and darkness are frequently used as metaphors for knowledge and ignorance, righteousness and sin, respectively. The dawn, therefore, represents the coming of divine truth and the hope of salvation. And talks about a bachelor party. So I did look up information about a company that provides bachelor parties in Moscow, in Russia. And I believe it's called Putin Bachelor Party. Let me show you. You really can't make this stuff up. It's called Putin, P-U-T-I-N, Tours, Bachelor Stag Parties Moscow. I was reading through here. I found it very interesting about the arrangement of how they do what is known as like a weekend party deal. As you can see here, it says airport pickup. So they pick you up at the airport in that top picture there. Looks like they're drinking beer and shots of vodka. Russian style, it says. Then it says bazooka, which to me symbolizes war. And boom, it has underneath that. Then you go for a tank ride. Good old military fun, it says beneath that. And then there's a kidnapping. Troll the groom the Russian way. So I guess the groom is like interrogated. And then there's a shooting, of all things. It says big guns, always fun. And then there's the limos, go in style. Clubbing, time for a little party in a big city. And then the pub crawl, party like a Russian. Banya, after party, detox session, and then the restaurants where you could eat. Okay, now I wonder why the Russians are partying. Are they successful at some type of a campaign? That's what I'm thinking. So with the 827, the hope of salvation, that reminds me of Jesus saving us in the rapture in the nick of time. But when I was analyzing the key facts about this dream, I was looking at where it was talking about, it says, I asked him for a second time what his name was. He said Ruski. Okay, so second time I was thinking about the new weapon attack that took place back on November 21st. And it was without the warhead. And I believe the second time could be in reference to the next time that this ICBM weapon could be used. There will be a nuclear warhead. This is just something that I'm thinking about that is my own personal belief. I'm not saying for certain that this is the case, but this is what I'm taking away from this dream. As well as Ruski, meaning Russian, there was something that took place in Russia, which was back on December 3rd. There was, as you can see here on abcnews.com, a news article titled Asteroid Nearly Hits Earth in Siberia with a Second Massive Asteroid Passing This Week. It says here, the European Space Agency issued an alert for the 27-inch asteroid at 4:27 a.m. Eastern Time, with the agency saying the celestial rock would create a visible fireball in the sky, but the impact will be harmless. The asteroid, temporarily named Cal EPC-5, has become Earth's fourth detected asteroid strike of the year and just the 11th of all time. I find that very significant. 4 in 1 year and only 11 in all of history. Detected strikes are known as imminent impactors, according to Kitt Peak National Observatory in Arizona, which identified the fast-moving asteroid ahead of its arrival. Okay, then there were some videos that were posted on X.
Все, что ли? Все? Видели? Видела? Все, засняли.
Сереж, видишь? Сережа, вон.
Вижу. Ой, все, что ли? Все, мы не увидели.
So this reminded me of what I had seen in a vision back on Sunday, December 1st. Sunday, December 1st, had a closed-eye vision of a huge fiery meteor or hailstone or asteroid flying across the nighttime sky at 1:39 a.m. I did look up 139 in the Strong's Hebrew Concordance. So I saw the asteroid flying across the sky, or the meteor or the hailstone, at 1:39 a.m. It is the word Adoni Sedek, which the word origin is derived from two Hebrew words, Adoni meaning my Lord, and Sedek meaning righteousness or justice. Under usage, it says Adoni Zedek means my Lord is righteousness or Lord of righteousness. It is used as a proper name for a king of Jerusalem during the time of Joshua, which that led me to scripture. Joshua 10. Under the subheading, the sun stands still. If you started verse 3, it reads, Therefore Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, sent to Hoham, king of Hebron, Piram, king of Jarmuth, Japhia, king of Lachish, and Debir, king of Eglon, saying, Come up to me and help me, that we may attack Gibeon. For it has made peace with Joshua and with the children of Israel. Therefore the 5 kings of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, and the king of Eglon gathered together and went up, they and all their armies, and camped before Gibeon, and made war against it. Verse 6. And the men of Gibeon sent to Joshua at the camp at Gilgal, saying, Do not forsake your servants. Come up to us quickly, save us, and help us, for all the kings of the Amorites who dwell in the mountains have gathered together against us. Okay, what does that remind you of? All the countries gathering around Israel currently. Okay, verse 7. So Joshua ascended from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor. And the Lord said to Joshua, Do not fear them, for I have delivered them into your hand. Not a man of them shall stand before you. Joshua therefore came upon them suddenly, having marched all night from Gilgal. So the Lord routed them before Israel, killed them with a great slaughter at Gibeon, chased them along the road that goes to Beth-horon, and struck them down as far as Azekah and Makkedah. And it happened as they fled before Israel and were on the descent of Beth-horon, that the Lord cast down large hailstones from heaven on them as far as Azekah, and they died. There were more who died from the hailstones than the children of Israel killed with the sword. Then Joshua spoke to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel, and he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and moon in the valley of Ajalon. So the sun stood still and the moon stopped, till the people had revenge upon their enemies. Is this not written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and did not hasten to go down for about a whole day, and there has been no day like that before it or after it, that the Lord heeded the voice of a man, for the Lord fought for Israel. Then Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, to the camp at Gilgal. Also, I believe this could be associated with some type of a darkness event, with the sun standing still and the moon standing still. So this could be a type and shadow of things to come with these kings, which could be a representation of the countries coming against Israel and God coming to her defense with these hailstones.
На применение американского и британского дальнобойного оружия 21 ноября текущего года российские вооруженные силы нанесли комбинированный удар по одному из объектов оборонно-промышленного комплекса Украины. В боевых условиях было проведено в том числе и испытание одной из новейших российских ракетных систем средней дальности. В данном случае с баллистической ракетой в безъядерном гиперзвуковом оснащении. Мы считаем себя вправе применять наше оружие против военных объектов тех стран, которые позволяют применять свое оружие против наших объектов. А в случае эскалации агрессивных действий будем отвечать также решительно и зеркально. Об этом рекомендую серьезно задуматься и правящим элитам тех стран, которые вынашивают планы использовать против России свои воинские контингенты.
So as you can see here, it says, The Kremlin fired a new intermediate-range ballistic missile at Ukraine on Thursday in response to Kyiv's use this week of American and British missiles capable of striking deeper into Russia, President Vladimir Putin said. In a televised address to the country, the Russian president warned that U.S. air defense systems would be powerless to stop the new missile, which he said flies at 10 times the speed of sound, which he called the Ureshnik, Russian for hazelnut tree. He also said it could be used to attack any Ukrainian ally whose missiles are used to attack Russia. It says here, we believe that we have the right to use our weapons against military facilities of the countries that allow to use their weapons against our facilities, Putin said in his first comment since President Joe Biden gave Ukraine the green light this month to use U.S. ATACMS missiles to strike at limited targets inside Russia. Then I'm looking at the dream again. It says, I asked him for a second time what his name was, and he said Ruski. Second time. So I'm thinking, second time. That has to mean something. So immediately I thought about that new type of ICBM weapon that was launched against Ukraine. So will this second time mean the second attempt at Ukraine? And this time maybe with a nuclear warhead? I'm just asking the question. I don't know. So as you can see here, this was information from 2 weeks ago, today I believe, November 21st, about that new intermediate range ballistic missile that they launched without a warhead on Ukraine at Dnipro. Did Russia launch a new type of ICBM weapon against Ukraine?
According to Defense.gov, the Russians today launched a new kind of missile at Ukraine, what the Defense Department is calling an Intermediate Range Ballistic Missile, or IRBM, said the Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary.